Welcome to Soul Tribe Search Party, your go-to space for real talk, deep reflections, and unfiltered life moments. I'm your host, Breezy, and here we keep it raw, soulful, and authentic. Hit that subscribe button, and let's dive in. Hey y'all, so I watched the Gabby Petito, if that's how you say her last name, documentary on Netflix last night. Honestly, I had seen a bunch of people talking about it, and I didn't think that I was going to watch it just simply because, I don't know, I always show disinterest in a lot of things on TV, but I watched it, and I am going to actually show y'all the trailer. Hold on.
Hi, I'm Brian.
And I'm Gabby.
And this is our Ford Transit Connect that we've been living in. And we thought it was finally time to give you a tour.
Gabby and Brian seemed like a loving couple.
Talking about you, babe. You're burning hot.
Oh. But behind the scenes, they would get into arguments.
No, turn it back. Baby, come here. Yeah, I want to retake this video.
Brian thought the vlog was stupid.
Big open floor for you to keep your dirty feet.
The happiest people on social media usually have the darkest skeletons in their closet.
I'd like to report a domestic dispute. Gentleman was slapping the girl.
Okay, you said it's a white van? Kind of looks like something like hit you in the face.
Gabby Petito has not been heard from for weeks.
We had officers go to the Laundry family home.
We don't know anything.
Was Gabriel here? Or? No, she's not here. Is this her vehicle?
2 people went on a trip, 1 person returned.
I knew something bad happened.
We now have 2 missing young people.
I was screaming, what did he do?
Come on now.
I remember saying to Brian, you keep her safe. And he looked at me and he smiled. He said, I will.
Okay, so sorry, I had to make sure I wasn't on mute. So anyway, a couple things, and yes, this will probably be a spoiler, so if you want to watch it first, then I wouldn't finish watching this video. But it was so interesting to me. Obviously, this is a documentary, so I feel like it's just like watching a regular TV show, even though yes, this is probably very real for the people that were on the show. It was just very interesting to me throughout watching it. The people that came on, I just feel like there were so many red flags throughout this whole situation, especially with some of the friends that speak on there. A lot of their examples and stuff like that, I just feel like they were red flags. For 2, as it pertained to the families, I know that you have to, your kids be who they are, right? I just felt like, why weren't you sharing? Actually, scratch that, because I'm not going to tell people how to parent. The story is very sad. Instead, I'll just make comments on how people looked. The boyfriend definitely was sketch. Like his whole mannerisms, even when you look at the fucking videos of her vlogging, dude is a fucking creep. And I don't mean to talk about his looks or anything, but you can just tell when somebody is off. And definitely in his videos with her, his face was just, he was trying way too hard to feel or seem normal, that it was like, no, bro, please. And especially when they had dropped the footage of her in that domestic dispute in Moab, it was just off-putting to me that the police officers really put this man in a hotel and had her stay in her camper by herself. You know, I feel like I would have taken her back to the hotel and let him stay in the camper. I didn't really understand that logic. And then I just didn't understand, you know, because they showed the text between her and her mom. And I just don't understand why she wasn't more open with her mom about what was going on. She was just very vague with her mom. And me personally, I don't understand that because it's perceived as, she had a really good home life because she has two sets of parents that are involved with her, as the show perceives it. She has a healthy co-parents, right? And for someone that has healthy co-parents, I just don't understand. I am just explaining this because I am honestly trying to get an understanding. Okay, I'm not trying to belittle or question someone's motives. It's just I am thinking from my logic and my perspective and trying to understand that perspective. Because if you watch the documentary, everything was blatantly obvious to me, but maybe they were just trying to, now that stuff is out there, they're putting the obvious there as it's building the story. To me, I'm like, this shit is obvious the whole way through. Their whole relationship was obvious, and then it was just very narcissistic tendencies of, she's having these panic attacks because, or anxiety, I'm sorry. She's talking about how he's always crying, he's always this, but you never see the nigga cry. And obviously in real time, yeah, probably they didn't get a recording of him crying. I just felt like we were only shown the messages that he's sending. So I'm like, is this nigga even really crying? No, I think he's just sending her all this stuff to keep her in an elevated emotional state. Like even when the friend was talking about it, I would have just been like, girl, give me your phone. This shit is stupid. And I just don't understand. I don't understand. And maybe I experienced it a little bit, when I was in high school and I had my first relationship. Your emotions are heightened, but it's like I still saw what it was. I just didn't understand this what it was. I just didn't understand why I didn't let go of it. It's like I have an obsessive personality. Maybe that's what it was. I as far as somebody putting their hands on me, that is just an absolute no. For me personally, I have never let myself be in that kind of situation. I just feel like if your partner is being abusive with you, I don't know if you just don't feel like you can do better than that or if you deserve better than that. And even in the documentary, she was saying that a lot. She doesn't deserve his love. And I was confused because I'm like, that's not love. He's not showing you love. I don't know. She started being around her friend, and her friend was that friend that was giving her life. And I know exactly what that feeling is because I feel like I'm always that friend. I'm the one that always starts to come around my friends, and all of a sudden, they know who they are and they start focusing more on themselves, and then their partner usually be making comment or say something about it, because it's a jealousy. They want to keep them small-minded and in their space. I don't know. I'm like, if you can feel on fire with your friend, then why not keep going back towards that energy, with your friend who is also willing to help you versus going back to that energy that makes you feel low. And then go on a road trip, decide you're going to do a van life. You let somebody propose to you without a ring. The firefly story was cute, or if it was a dragonfly, I can't remember now. But, they stated that it had landed on her ring finger, so they were meant to be, some shit like that. That is understandable. Okay, the universe makes you feel like when things happen like that, you're in alignment. And I feel like in some cases you are, as far as just because something like this happened doesn't mean that to them they might not have been soulmates or whatever. I think what it really comes down to is you reap the benefits if you put in the work. If he was really someone that was in darkness, because a lot of us are sent to be with people that are in darkness, and you'll know your work is done when they do their own work and you find out how they can come out of their darkness. But the steps through that is that they are making those changes in real time. It's not that you are trying to put your all into trying to change someone, because that's not our job. Our job isn't to change you. our job is to like influence, plant the seed, you know, because I don't want to influence to make it seem like because we want them to live our perspective, but it's I'm here to plant a seed to help you be the best version of yourself. I feel like their personalities may have aligned in some form or fashion, but if he's not actively doing the work, then it's going to be the karmic side instead of it being the positive outcome. Yeah, like the story was very, very, very interesting. And even I like how they incorporated her actual blogs so that you can see them in real time. Like it really brought them back to life. Watching it, it was just so obvious in those videos, seeing him. It's like his facial expressions were beyond fake. And you could see that was the reaction of someone that didn't really want to be seen, but he was trying to put his mask back on. Even down to his parents, the fact that he just thought that he was going to kill old girl and keep it moving. Like, bro, if you are the only nigga living in a van with this girl, where is your thought process? How did you think you could possibly just kill somebody that people know that she is with you every day, and you try to set the shit up so that it seemed like she just died of natural things? Like, I admire the setup of, you know, he tried to text and say certain things to the mom to make it seem like they had actually parted ways. I understand that concept. However, you got to be smart about your texting. Like, you also have to be mindful of that as well. Everything can be tracked. Everything can be tracked. And then on, like, you're not even talking like her. I don't know. I just feel like there was a lot of stupidity, but I also recognize his play leading up to everything, as far as him trying to set himself up in certain areas so that he could be seen, you know, instead of so that he can be seen. That's it. Because it's like you have to keep up with that play, right? After you do it. And the fact that you thought that just because you sent a text that you guys broke up and you take the van back home, because in the story they even said that, well, he texted the mom that she could have the van if he paid her or some shit like that. So if you told the parents that she basically was supposed to end up with the van, but the van is now at your parents' house and y'all not trying to talk to nobody and you have a lawyer, that makes no sense. Like, if you're going to play if you're going to play the game, play the game. You weren't even trying to cooperate. You made it just very obvious to make yourself a suspect. And I'm not trying to make this legal advice or anything like that. I'm just like, the logic and how everything played out just didn't make sense to me during the whole thing. It was a very interesting story to watch. And I did have another point in that too, is, you know, I feel like when it comes to children of color, when they go missing too, or women, I know a lot of us are just like, we get mad and we're like, how come nobody puts in the same effort? Honestly, I feel like it's the networking, it's who you know, right? Because with her having 4 parents, everybody was boots on the ground for her and they were going out of their way to make the story. I think that that is really what caught wave was, you know, the world is like, what the fuck? You know, they're invested in this. This is a true crime thing, you know, just like a dude that was wrapped up in the wrestling mat. That also got news coverage because people are like, what the fuck? You know, if it's a what the fuck story, and even Kanika Jenkins, I can even say her name, you know, that literally still pops up on my timeline of people still wondering what happened to her. And I think that's all the difference really that comes with it. If it's like something people can investigate and it gives them some type of mental stimulation, then they're like, oh yeah, let's get to the bottom of this. We want to figure this out. Everybody wants to help figure it out. So yeah, I just saw parents that were not willing to back down from getting the information out there, and that's what happened, and that's why it blew up the way that it did. So yeah, it's a very interesting documentary and people should watch it. So now, something else that I wanted to talk about. I was scrolling on TikTok and there's this girl's page that I be seeing. Her name is J Barbie, right? I honestly love her videos. Okay, I love her videos. Okay, so I'm about to play her video here. This is the one that went viral, but honestly, I've been watching her videos before she even went viral. So let's watch this video. So the thing about that video, even watching that particular one, you scroll through the comments and people are talking about, there was a girl in the background that had yellow hair and they were talking about how she was hating on her, right? Her videos have gotten to be very controversial, and I'm going to show you this next video. So this girl that she is dancing with is somebody who they will try to compare her to in the comments. So I went through a couple of her comments, not that I'm invested in her or anything. I went through a couple of the comments because I'm like, people make the same comments like, oh, she's trying to be like blank, she's trying to be like blank. And the girls that she was talking about, I clicked on their page. Now, this is my perspective of things. I feel like the only reason why Black people kept saying, because that's all that the main people that are commenting on the video being negative are Black women. They're darker skinned Black women. Okay. They are saying stuff like, oh, she's trying to be like, oh girl, she's trying to be like, oh girl. And I clicked on the girls' pages. They are women that are the same color as them. So I'm like, ooh, clearly this is a thing of skin color, right? Because hold on. Before I get into it, I am going to play another video that she was in, because this is the girl that they have been comparing her to. This is one of them. Okay, so let's watch this one. Okay, so clearly they are two different dancing styles, you know. When I watch the video, I'm just like, cool, you know, when you watch the video, you watch to where your eyes are being pulled. You know, like you just watch whichever one is like, damn, she killing it, or is it her? You know, so I, of course, am looking at J Barbie in this video because she's just bold about how she moves, right? And that's her dancing style. That is cool. As women, I feel like when they see the video, it should just be like, it's two women that are showing, first off, they're being bold as hell, two women on a stage where people are trying to compare them, you know. But I feel like in this moment, they are both being themselves and doing what they do best, okay? And I feel like us women tried to jump on it and just let it be known, like, oh, the girl in the red was better. The girl in the red was better. I even seen a comment on there where old girl was talking about, we've been doing this, something along the line. Like, it was just extremely racist of like what she said. And then she continued to be narcissistic through the rest of the comments, because of course you have people that are coming on there to comment and be like, okay, you're clearly making this a light skin versus dark skin thing. And she was arguing back that this girl, J Barbie, is not Black. And I'm like, why? Like, at what point do people get so invested that they got to be that hateful and tell somebody you're not Black? we're not accepting you in the community, just simply off of the strength that is an insecurity. I know exactly why the women on here are saying what they're saying as it pertains to this woman. And I just think that it's so hateful, it's so dry, it's fucking loser behavior, because at the end of the day, the girl next to her she is who she is. You know, she has her crowd of people that love watching how she moves, and the old girl has her crowd of people that love watching how she moves. And I just think it didn't make any sense why people were so, I don't know, you know, and everybody talking about, oh, she's doing too much. Now, personally, I am not Southern. So it's like when I see people line dancing and shit, like that stuff is cool as hell to me, because I only wish that I could have grown up in a true Black community, you know, where we had those type of opportunities to, you know, go to trail rides or fucking go to a HBCU, or even just be in a fucking town that is majority Black people. I never grew up like that. I've always been around white, majority white, or it's like a like sprinkle diverse, you know, community. And I don't want to say sprinkle, like, yeah, it's Black people, but it's not enough to where you're in tune with the culture. And I just feel like when we see stuff on the internet like this, where people are being creative, you know, and you're watching their videos, it's nothing to just watch the video and be entertained. It doesn't have to come down to literally every video that you scroll through on Old Girl's page is some Black women on there hating for real. And I was like, this is so sad. It's so sad because she's good. And it's just like, I hope that she is mentally weathering herself through all of that, because I don't really see that she comments too much back to people, but I know that that can probably take a toll, unless she's a Leo. Probably not. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because I was like, dang, I can't believe they hating on her like that. But anyway, I need to do some more research, because really what I wanted to talk about is how people be trying to come at us for be like, if you're that person that be like, oh, you know, it's because you're a Capricorn, or that was very Aries of you to say. I'd be saying shit like that, or I'd be identify myself with being an Aries, you know, sometimes, or if somebody is acting a certain way, I'm like, yeah, it's because you're an Aquarius. It is funny because it's not that I like when I be saying that shit, it's not because I am trying to fully identify somebody or myself with that energy. It's me like trying to point out the fact that that is the energy being exalted. And obviously, if whether it's good or bad, like if it's a bad energy, like how can you better maneuver with it, knowing that that's what comes with that. But I notice a lot of people get offended, you know, when people talk about astrology, and I feel like it's a really helpful tool. And it's not the only thing out there. You know, I also used to obsess with the Enneagram and life path numbers. That's probably a part of astrology or numerology, but also like cardology. Everything kind of sparks my interest. And I don't think that we have to necessarily put a label on it about like stuff being demonic, witchcraft. Like, no, I definitely think people should start to understand that the more stuff that you become knowledgeable about, the better you can kind of put together your own spin on how things feel. You know, when I obsessed about the Enneagram, I'm like, damn, because this personality shit is spot on. But then when you learn about something else where that also tells you about yourself, then you're like, shit, well then how can these two things coexist if this is one, like this is saying I'm this, but this is saying that I'm that. But the reality is you're just a mixture of these things, and all of these things are true at once. So it's just very interesting to me. I mean, I do feel like I talk about it too much as far as like telling somebody what they are. And I need to find my balance, just like I need to find my balance with saying like and shit in my videos. But you guys might not see all of it because I edit it out. But anyway, yeah, so I feel like I should make some type of videos or series talking about just all the different variety of things, even personality types, traits, stuff like that, because it's all interesting to me. But you guys should also start telling me about my videos and the progress that I'm making, because I am editing by myself. I'm learning how to edit and produce and be a creative all at the same time. So you guys can give me feedback on my edits and how things are going, but not too much. Not too much. Usually if I start losing my thoughts, or if my mind is going blank, I feel like that's the time where it's like, yeah, I'm ready to be done talking, or I'm good now. You know, I have emptied my journaling. That's how I journal too. Like, I just keep writing and writing and writing until all my thoughts are out. Oh yeah, and I did drop a video on my birthday, and by that time that I dropped the video, I was just a tad bit more knowledgeable about editing and functions with editing a video. So then the videos after that, like, those were supposed to be the start of me doing my YouTube channel. So those ones, like I said, as you watch the journey, you will see how the editing of the videos change and get better with time. But if you stay till the end, thanks for coming and listening to my wild thoughts, my brain dumps, all the above. And until next time. That's a wrap for today's episode. If this resonated with you, don't forget to follow, share, and connect with me on YouTube, TikTok, and my website can be found in my bio. Let's keep the convo going.